Ta-da!
What makes us happy? Why is it that the pursuit of happiness is such a difficult journey sometimes? I suppose I feel the happiest when I'm at the beach. The sand, the sun, the waves crashing, it's all very peaceful. It reminds me that my problems aren't so big after all. But it's only for that moment. It's just a slice of happiness that I'm feeling. It can't be anything more. Because the moment I walk off that beach, my problems grow larger and that peace I felt slowly slips away. We all have our own slices of happiness, places or people that make us feel happy. But are we truly happy? And why does that question carry so much baggage? I guess I see true happiness as not a particular place or a particular person, but like a puzzle where all of the pieces fit together perfectly. I'm a long way from a completed puzzle, and it will probably take years and years for my pieces to fit just like I want them to. But it's possible, isn't it? I consider myself enormously blessed. My puzzle's an easy one. I just have to find the right way to put it all together. But others are not so lucky. How can someone who has a severe disability be happy? It's really hard for me to imagine being happy like that. But it's odd, because the moment I think of the word happy, I think of just one person. When you tell people you have a handicapped brother, their perception of you changes instantly, whether they admit it or not. They don't say it, but I know they're thinking, wow, how strong and courageous you must be to quietly carry around this burden. But Jackson is not a burden, and I realize this more and more every day. Years ago, when I was a senior in high school, my passion for filmmaking led me to create a documentary on Jackson. I wanted to tell his story because it was so rare and so interesting that I thought it needed to be told. But I didn't realize the importance of what I made until I was old enough to understand. I did not realize that his story, my little film made with zero budget and hardly any technical expertise, could answer one of life's biggest questions. What makes us happy? Now, perhaps it is best to let Jackson tell you the rest. After all, this is his story.
Tell your story about boy named Jackson. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jackson. In the hospital, I was a baby, and mommy tummy, and her took me home, and I brought him home, and he was happy. And then I grew up and became a big boy and became a teenager. Happy ever after, the end. Ta-da!
Whoops! That's not that brace on that. Ow! What are you doing? How's it good? Let's put your lid on.
You ready to go? High five.
What are you doing? Get out of those leaves!
I'll pick you up so we can run faster.
a time, a long time ago, there was a butterfly named Jackson, and he flied away happily ever after. The end.
Everything had been normal in the pregnancy, so we didn't expect anything to be out of the ordinary, and we were kind of surprised that baby was coming early like that, but we still didn't think about, or at least I didn't think about the potential of, any kind of.
Well, all the
any kind of
tests
health
had come
problems.
back normal, so there's no indication to think that something might be wrong.
Jackson was born, I think, early the next morning, if I remember right.
9-ish, 7-ish.
Yeah, I think around 9 o'clock maybe in the morning. And so whenever he was born, it was pretty clear something was wrong, because he had a
Colloidal membrane.
colloidal membrane, which means that he kind of had like this. His skin almost looked like he was a burn victim as soon as he was born.
It's almost like cellophane, just stripped off big old sheets. The colloidal membrane had kind of compressed everything, so everything was kind of just drawn up into the cell. We didn't know if he was a boy or girl.
I can remember when he was first born, I've never had, and as far as I can ever remember in my life, I've never had a situation where I felt like I was going to faint. But I remember walking out in the hallway for a minute right after he was born and just leaning against the wall, and I just kind of slid down the wall and sit there for a little bit, and for a minute I didn't know if I was going to faint or not. It was just so emotional.
I was just like, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong? And nobody would really tell me, and I never really got to see him. I mean, within just a couple hours, I was up in the wheelchair down there at the NICU trying to see him and get some answers. And he was actually just learning how to suck a bottle, but nothing would stay
but he
down.
had that pleurotic stenosis within a week or so after he'd been born, so he had surgery right away. Then he had, when they started doing x-rays and looking at him, he had a problem with his, he had hemivertebrae. It was clear he had issues, and they immediately went and got Dr. McCarter, who was the
NICU.
head of the neonatal care unit in New Hanover.
Jackson was not expected to have any problems when his mother went into labor. However, in that situation, we had neonatal nurse practitioners that went to the delivery, and he did very well when he came out, breathed easily, and had no problems. But it was obvious, just looking at his skin and his lack of hair, that he had some significant issues we were going to have to diagnose and give him some assistance with. I guess my initial reaction was, what do we have here? I didn't have an instantaneous diagnosis, but with the lack of hair and some of the skin lesions, it suggested a medical problem referred to as ichthyosis.
Ichthyosis is a condition, I like to put it in very simple layman's terms. It's as if all my skin cells are cars getting on a highway and there's only one exit ramp. And so they're beginning to pile up and build up on top of the skin. That is the EHK type that I have.
Ichthyosis is a family of more than 20 varieties of genetic skin diseases characterized by scaling skin that may be thickened or very thin. Ichthyosis has a wide range of severity and symptoms and affects people of all ages, races, and genders. As of now, there is no cure for ichthyosis. Treatments for ichthyosis are exactly that, treatments, not cures.
He had started to suck a bottle a little bit, so he was taking a bottle, but what would happen is he would, he would take like 3 ounces, and then all of a sudden he would just sort of start fighting it and not want any more.
My name is Mary Forehand, and I'm a pediatrician in Wilmington, and I have known Jackson since the day he was born. I've been his doctor. The scope of his problems were very difficult to know at birth. We had no idea. We took one thing at a time. He had some anatomic issues that we sent him to specialists for, and as he grew older, we saw there were more and more issues, and then the immunodeficiency became apparent, which required him to get medicines regularly. So he's always been tied very closely to specialists who have actually learned a lot from him. He's been a great example for learning at the institutions that he's been to, because he has conditions that aren't really well known by anybody.
From the very beginning with Jackson, the doctors have really not known what to do about him, how to treat him, exactly what is right or wrong, and no prognosis. From the beginning, we've never known. And even back then, they didn't know what was wrong. They didn't know why he wasn't thriving. They didn't know why he wouldn't take his bottle. And we literally had to make them, we had to say, you've got to do something.
Well, he was near death. He was failure to thrive.
Yeah.
And Dr. Forehand and Carter sent us up to Chapel Hill, and they said if we don't get him somewhere, he's going to die.
10 days, they could not find out what was wrong with him. They could not find out. They ran every kind of test.
Swallow
we
test.
Stayed there, we stayed there, we stayed there.
Dye
They couldn't
test.
figure it out. And I finally had to literally grab a doctor and go, hey, he can't swallow. When he swallows, he gets choked. When he swallows, he gets choked. And the doctor goes, oh, okay, well, let me go get an ear, nose, and throat specialist. And he went and got an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they found out he had a laryngeal cleft. They also did a Nissan wrap, and they also put a G-tube in his stomach, which that was, all that stuff is extraordinarily scary. You're thinking, well, hey, how do I manage that? Will it get infected? Can he take a bath? How, is it going to hurt him when he moves, and so on and so forth? And so not knowing all that, we were all worried about that.
They basically threw their hands up. They said, we don't know what to do. We can't fix him. The only thing they could tell us to do is basically, I think their options were at that point in time, just let him go or put an intestinal tube in. And we've heard from other people that the intestinal tube was basically a kiss of death.
Sit down right, sit up straight.
I am.
You ready for me to ask you some questions?
Yes, I am.
Do you like being on video?
Yes, I do. Ask the questions away.
What is your name?
Jackson.
What's your full name?
Jackson Henry Hollingsworth, blah, blah, blah.
How old are you?
13. Right.
Right. What school do you go to?
Kinderpen.
When's your birthday?
April 2nd.
Who's your mom and dad?
Mommy and Daddy.
Can you please sing me a song
Sure.
about your life?
Sure. Achoo! 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 Like that?
Hello, where's Jackson? Oh, there he comes. Yay! Got Polly? Huh?
A little telephone, careful. I saw a heel.
You're gonna twist it. Don't jerk.
Nobody else really wanted to even answer my phone calls, basically. Dr. Prose would answer my phone calls. I would call him up and say, Dr. Prose, he's sick on his stomach and I can't get any food into him. What should I do? And he'd say, let me make some phone calls and see what I can find out. And I'd say, Dr. Prose, his skin's broke out all over everywhere. I don't know why. What should I do?
My name is Neil Prose, and I'm a pediatric dermatologist here at Duke University Medical Center in Durham. and I've known Jackson since just about a few days after he was born. My first reaction was glad that he came to Duke, because I think a lot of the families that I see who are dealing with this are coming from a very good hospital where the doctors just have no experience with that particular condition. And I think it helped your parents a lot that I was able to reassure them that I kind of had seen this before, and that I had a really good sense of where we go next.
At 2 years old, to the day, we managed to go to the hospital because he got that herpes rash all over him. And that's when they found out that he had a suppressed immune system, and the reason why his skin was breaking down even more so than a child with ichthyosis.
Well, Jackson has problems with respect to his immune system. He has some abnormalities in his bones, and he had a problem with seizures at various points, and all those things are things that we usually don't see together in combination with ichthyosis. And so we've always been a bit mystified what to call what name to give what Jackson has. Just from the point of view of understanding what his future might hold, just out of curiosity to some extent, and because I think all families and doctors just feel better if they can actually identify exactly what the problem is. But sometimes we can't, and I think that's been the case with him. Ichthyosis by itself is a rare condition. And on top of that, Jackson has a lot of other medical problems that are genetic that we've never seen before in that particular combination. So in some fashion, as far as I'm concerned, Jackson is not only rare, he's almost unique.
So I remember Dr. Prose telling us when he first saw him, he said, as soon as he grows hair, I'll be able to take a piece of that hair.
And I promise you he'll have sit hair.
And we can analyze it, and I'll be able to tell you exactly what his condition is, because that's the way you diagnose the type of ichthyosis he has. So he said, as soon as he grows hair, we'll be able to diagnose it. We'll know exactly what he's got. And we said, well, but he didn't have any hair. He said, but he'll grow hair. He will. I promise you, he'll grow hair.
6 months he'll have hair.
That's been about 10 years ago.
No, that was he said he'd have it by 6 months. That was 13 years ago.
That wasn't me, Denver.
You're clean.
And handsome. My Denver.
Right.
Pat. Make your mouth, make your breath feel good.
Oh.
Mouth feel clean now. Good. All right.
I know that I love you so much, Bonnie.
Sing it.
I love you. You are me. You're best friends like you be in the bright big heart. It tells me that you want you say you want me to. I know wasn't on the railroad all the way from day. I wasn't on the railroad. I tracked on, and you hear the whistle blowing. And you hear the captain shouting, "Donna, blow your horn,
Toot toot,
Donna, want you blow,
toot toot,
Donna, want you blow,
toot toot,
Donna, want you blow your
toot
horn,
toot toot,
Donna, want you blow,
toot toot toot,
Donna, want you blow, Donna, want you blow your horn."
toot toot. I am Yvonne Rayner, and I am
His best friend.
his best friend. I was babysitting for the family, have been since Denver was about 4 months old. They had Denver, Dallas, then Jackson came along, and I started taking care of him. I started working through home care so they could get a lot of the benefits for Jackson, things and ways to help him and ways for us to work with him and help him more. His mom and dad brought him home. He had to stay in the hospital, of course, for several weeks. And when they brought him home, I thought he was such a precious little fella. His mom went out one day and left me with him by himself. And he had his tube and all, and I thought, oh my goodness, what has she done to leave me here with this baby like this by herself? And I was kind of scared, but I thought, well, you know, we're going to work it all out. Everything's going to be okay.
What do you like about your glasses?
I can see better.
That's right.
What do you think about your camera, Denver?
I like my camera. Go look into it. Can you see me?
Yep.
One day we were out riding on the golf cart, and he had been talking a little bit, and he said, Vaughn. And oh, I was so tickled. I was tickled to death. And I said, we came in, and I said, Jackie, he said, Vaughn. She said, he did. And he had been talking, and I was saying calling different names and saying to Mom and all that kind of thing, but he hadn't said my name before. So I was so excited that he had said my name. So from that, he started talking, and he hadn't hushed.
Jackson had never talked, never said a word. He always knew what we said, he always knew what we were doing, but he never said a word. Well, one day he came in, it was at my old office, and one of the girls who put him back came out and said, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like, oh, really? What? You know, what? I didn't even know she was talking about Jackson. She said, you just wait. You go in there. And I walk in, and Jackson goes, hey, you! Just as perfect as if he had said it his whole life. The cutest thing I've ever heard. And ever since, Jackson talks. And he talks like everyone else. And actually, he never quits.
One day, on a hot spring day, I was at the beach. And I talked a lot and woke Mommy and Daddy up. And they said, be quiet, Jackson, we're trying to sleep. God can't sleep. Please.
So when you sit there and talk about it, you know, it sounds like it's just overwhelming, and in a sense it is, but he's
But then, as you'll see from the documentary, that Jackson is 1 in a million.
yeah, but his spirit and his personality is just upbeat through it all. He's never down. He's always happy and always joyful.
I have an idea. I want to make a movie on my first day of school.
Are you the director?
Yep. One, then action! Time for door! Bye, Daddy! Bye! 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 Door! Hello, I'm your teacher. Hello, teacher! Hello. Teacher. What? The bell is ringing. Todd, that was horrible. And I quit.
He was doing well enough by the time he was 6 that I felt like he needed an education. We went to school and got him into Chinkapin. We got him an assistant, and he went into Miss Parker's kindergarten class. And he did wonderful in there. Now, our attendance was terrible. We were gone more when we were there. But he was on an average kindergarten level when he left there. He had everybody just charmed to death. That summer, everybody else from kindergarten to 1st grade apparently blossomed and learned how to read and write their name, and Jackson's still in the same basic spot he was when he left kindergarten.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
What?
I think it's like raspberry cool. You want to do it?
What color is it?
It's that pretty blue.
So we got to Miss Pickett's 1st grade class. I remember it was the first day of school. This is the funniest thing. Somehow or another we got off on a tangent about what happens when you get in trouble at your house. All these kids were saying, well, my mom makes me do time out. They asked Jackson, they said, Jackson, what happens when you get in trouble at school, at home? And he goes, I got to put my clothes on and go to school. and we all just about, Deidre was in there with me, and Mrs. Pickett was in there, and Miss Pickett goes, "What did he say?" And I said, "He said just what you think he said."
Awesome. Can I see it?
See?
Wow.
I can't wait to show my mom.
I am Jackie Futrell, and I work with Jackson for math. I go around to the rooms with him when he goes out of our classroom. He says, "I'm thirsty," said little Ernie. "I want some juice." Oh, very good. Said,
I mean, within the first week, we knew he wasn't going to be able to be in that classroom. So we did get in the special needs class then, and they did have some. It's been good and it's been bad. Right now, it's just wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
Jackson keeps it very interesting. He is so happy and has such a positive outlook. I try to have a positive outlook like Jackson, because just like today when it's rainy and ugly, he'll say, "It sure is a pretty day." I don't think I've ever had him in here a single day when he didn't tell me it was a pretty day. And like the bathroom, I painted yellow over the summer, and when we go in there for him to use the bathroom, he'll say, "I'm so glad you painted these walls. They're so pretty. They look like sunshine."
Trying to explain to people why he's a little different than we are. You know, you have the younger children come up and ask, "Why is his skin peeled?" You know, things like that. And I think trying to explain to them for them to understand is probably the hardest thing.
Right.
Other than that, he's a loving youngin'.
Why do you say that?
Because he's just full of life.
You tell them what to do. I'll tell them how many. 15. Ready? 15 setups. Ready, go.
I'm different, but I'm bigger and I'm the smallest. It makes me all alone and sad.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's your favorite part about the school day?
Like my teacher. I like me.
That's right, I like you too. What kind of games do you play?
I'll play. And pediatrics.
Look, come here. You want to look in with me?
Yeah, it's Jackson.
It's Jackson.
Yeah,
Who's that?
The way she says Rainer sounds like Nanner. What?
Look, Emily back with Denver.
I know. What? Now who is
Watch
Emily?
this. Who is that?
Emily.
Who is your friends? Some of your friends at school?
Emily Beth is my best friend. Emily gets in time out.
But you don't?
No, some.
Some. Why?
Miss Raymond said I'm being a little bad.
A little bad?
No, it's a haven. Not good. Not very nice.
So you weren't bad, you were just not good.
Yes. Emily Beth is my best friend. And so is Caitlin. Joseph and Justin. And that's all.
You have a lot of best friends in the class.
He is a social butterfly. That's the best word. He knows everybody at school, and everybody knows him.
Hey, Grandma!
He says, "Okay, Miss Rayner, tell my friends that I'm leaving, and when I get to the door, they need to yell goodbye." And we do this every single day. So Vaughn gets his stuff, and he tells me that, and then they get to the door, and everybody has to yell, "Bye, Jackson."
Sing me a song about you at school.
All right. Me at door, I like to go home. Me at door, I get my stuff and pack home. Head home.
The school itself has not been the problem. The problem has been Jackson just not being able to go. I mean, even now when he's at his healthiest, he only goes 4 half days, and that wears him out. I mean, his energy level's just not the same as a normal child.
Okay, I love you. I'll see you Monday. Okay?
Fun. Oh, Dad.
Okay, but I love you. Fish with a pet. Can't hug you around the neck. I work with my sister-in-law at the grilling part-time, and with Jackie part-time, and so she talked to me and said that Marty had discussed it, and they needed someone full-time. If I was interested, they'd like for me to. Well, that was a hard decision, because I enjoyed the grilling, the people, being with them. But I thought, I love Jackson too.
Jackson, do you love Vaughn?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Bushel and the pet, right, Vaughn?
Bushel and a pet, that's right.
Hug around the neck.
That's right, hug around the neck. I've been around sick people but most of my life. And when our daughter was born, and she lived to be 4 years and 16 days old, had disabilities and was sick, I said, if anybody ever told me I'd have gone through that, I said I couldn't do it. But on a day-to-day basis, you learn and you get stronger, and some days is worse than others, but you learn to do these things. Most children or most people would be irritable and not friendly and every way if they itched and had the problems that he does, but he takes it with stride. He goes on and he's happy with everybody and he loves everybody. No matter how bad I feel at home, I've got to get up and make sure I come every day to take care of Jackson. I love him on the weekends, or if I'm off for a few days, holidays or something, I get so excited about coming back to see him. He's just so special to me. I love him like he was mine.
Vaughn had a daughter that was sick when she was younger.
She was handicapped, yeah.
She had a daughter that was very, very sick as a child.
So she's very compassionate with Jackson. She's just special.
So she's like family. So for us, it's easy. It's easy for.
Yeah, we can do so much
Jackson
more.
likes to be with her. It's just like being with family when he's with her. So, so when she takes care of him, we're comfortable in leaving him with her and things like that.
The few times we have left, it's been. I mean, knowing she's here has made it possible, and times that he can't go with us, knowing that she's here, makes Jackson all right with it. We have some other babysitters that fill in too, and the ones that we've got make it possible for us to live somewhat of a normal life.
Why Brandy here?
Why is she here?
The babysit?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your name?
Brandy Kavanaugh.
And how are you involved with Jackson?
I am his babysitter.
How long have you been involved with him?
A couple of months. Well, a lot of months.
How have you enjoyed it?
I have loved it.
What's the best part about it?
Playing. And seeing Jackson go crazy.
Denver?
Yes.
Now talk about me.
What is Jackson doing?
Taking a siesta.
He's taking a siesta.
What? Who's Brandy?
Hurry is. Brandy's sidekick.
Brandy's your sidekick.
Like Randy?
Right.
A long cut. Okay. With no fluid. Okay?
Okay. Well, my name's Jerry, and I went to school with Jackson at Chinkapin, and my sister also babysat Jackson, and that's how I started babysitting here. It's really exciting when I come here on Saturdays and see Jackson waiting for me at the door, and when I walk in, he runs up to me and gives me a big hug and says he missed me that week. Here you go, Jackson.
How was my horse?
Here you go. What's his name?
Horsey.
I like playing games with him, and I like to do little kid things a lot.
No more cowboy?
Nope.
Why?
I just want to be me. Your son.
My son. My son.
What are we doing?
Doing to toot.
Mom, take his coat. Mom must have took your coat.
Good morning, handsome boy.
We're on about the round and round, round and round, round and round. Wheels on the back, go round and round, all through the town. The wheels on the back, doing to do, doing to do, doing to do. Wheels on the back, doing to do, doing to do.
We're changing.
And going to Duke with him, for me, I mean, Jackie does it all the time, but when I go with him, all the people that know him, everybody out
Gosh,
there
and
knows
I
him,
can't
everybody.
remember him, but everybody remembers Jackson.
They'll all say, "Hey, Jackson."
I knew that. I know you when you come in here.
Hey, how are you? Good. Hey. Hey, Jackson. Say hey.
Hey. Say hello, Denver.
Hello.
April 7th.
Jackson! How are you?
Good.
Good.
Wait up.
Alright, which arm do you want me to do?
This one.
This one.
That one.
That's good for me.
Good for us. Alright, you can be really still for me.
Denver. What did me on my lap?
You on my lap because you're such a big boy. You won't be sitting here very much longer, will you? Don't fall, Jackson. Oh, no. Just sit still. No, sit still. No, just sit still. Sit still. Where you going?
He's need to go to the doctor. He's been to the doctor. If he was having problems, and his mom would take him to the doctor, and Jackie would stay on the phone not 30 minutes but 3 hours if that's what it needed. She'd talk to the doctor. She was get on to him about, you know, we got to do something, there's something wrong. He doesn't just complain, and that means everything in the world, because so many children wouldn't have had all that. They wouldn't have had nobody to talk for them and to be that concerned.
My favorite part about my family is Mom.
Why?
I like to tuck me in at night. I've eaten poke me.
Does that hurt?
Yes, and I don't like that. I can't wait for you to come. How about when I leave?
I'll say bye, all of Jackson's doctors.
Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Duke.
Just how brave he is to go through all he has to go through, and just
Doesn't complain at all.
he just keeps on going.
Bye-bye, Duke. Your turn, Pansy.
Bye-bye, Duke.
Pansy for the pole. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
I remember when he went to get those, I can't remember what surgery it was. It was one of the many. I think it was something to do with the nails, getting something done on his nails.
Yeah.
But he was going in there, and he had a woman anesthesiologist, doctor, and we started saying, somehow or another came up that Jackson liked to be sung to. So one of the nurses say, well, the doctor here sings, Jackson. See if you can get her to sing to you to go to bed or go to sleep. So sure enough, he had this, doctor pretty high up, it probably late 40s, early 50s. And I mean, because people had come back and told me, and because he's never done it before, and sang him an entire song before he went to sleep. And all the other nurses and everything had told me that how, that she just doesn't do that. Nobody even knew she could sing, because she had a really good voice. And I said, what fun it made for those people that day.
Bye, Jackson. Y'all have a good day. Bye.
You ready for bed? All right, let's go. Sure. Yep, clean white teeth.
I can't sleep in bed. Purple
No.
sugar.
Stand right there.
And how about I jump first?
Okay, go.
What? This Denver?
4-1-0-1.
Not even on, is it?
All the presents.
Take a bath on Thursday night.
What is today?
My birthday.
Mom called me on April 1st and said, I'm having a baby. You were 6 weeks early, so I thought she was playing an April Fool's joke on me.
Jackson! Happy birthday to me! Your guests are arriving!
Jackson, I can hug you, Mom.
Sweetie, happy birthday!
Mama, hug you, Mom.
Oh, I see, Granny. Oh, my goodness. How old are you, darling? 14. Oh, my goodness.
Say hello to Granny.
Hello, Grammy. How you doing? You know it's Jackson's birthday?
If Jackson had been born in a lot of families, he would have never survived. He's had special parents and brothers and grandparents and aunts and uncles, cousins and all to work with him and be with him. If he had been born in so many families, he would have never survived.
Let's see what's in there. Oh, here. You gotta help me pull it out. My goodness. Oh, my goodness gracious.
We've tried to make it so the family's not caretakers. We've tried our hardest to make it so the family's not a caretaker, so they can be more of an entertainer. And we have the best entertainers ever around.
Camera. Are you good now? Gonna go out to the car to see his present.
Come on, Granny.
His skin pops out all over him like it's going to scale off, and it'll come right back. He's had a lot of things that was wrong with him, but he never was bad about it, at all. He's got a family that loves him. Every one of us love him, and we try our best to let him be with us and do the things that he can do with us, and with his brothers and his dad and his mom and his aunts and his uncles. And when I'm talking about him, I say that I love him better than anything in the world, and I don't want him to be hurt. I just want him to be like we are and enjoy himself, and he does. He does enjoy us when he's around us.
All right. Let Tom sit in the birthday chair. All right, I got 8. Where you want to put him? Just somewhere where it's not on the Sesame Street game?
Thank you.
There you go. Good? I'll have to turn off the air conditioning. I don't know.
Did he say yes?
Jackson, you say cheese?
Yeah.
Smile for me.
Say cheese.
A Sesame Street cake. A Sesame Street cake.
The fact that we did have, at that time, 2 other healthy children, and then once again another child after that was healthy, kind of puts it all in perspective, I think. I mean, Jackson's a rare case, but our family would not be our family without Jackson. And Marty, I think we're lucky that it's actually, I think, brought us closer together versus bringing us apart. I mean, you're going to do one or the other. You're going to come together as a team and figure it out, or you're not. And we both knew that we had to stay together and do all we could for all of them, and we've still had a good time.
All right, let's sing. Y'all let Jackson play. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jackson. Happy birthday to you. Everyone blow out candles. Blow out.
Jackson was fortunate to have been born in such a wonderful family. Had Jackson been born in another family without the wherewithal, the intelligence, the I'm going to do this, we can make this happen, we love you, we've accepted you, you're one of us, Jackson wouldn't be what he is today. You need to take credit, your mother, your dad, your brothers, you guys all deserve great credit because Jackson is a happy kid. Jackson is a fairly healthy kid. It wouldn't happen in a lot of families, and that's, to me, is remarkable. And I deal with families all day long. You happen to have a good one.
I just remembered Jackson, so well. Some aspects of his care, and that his parents, your parents, were just some of the nicest parents we've ever had in the intensive care nursery. Just very, very loving and caring, and very helpful to us.
And it's been a pleasure to work with all of you all, with Jackson, because he's a lot to do. You all have done it. You've accepted it. You've done it with grace, with pride, with dignity, very well. And I can't say that about every family, and that's really remarkable. And I'm proud of all of y'all, because we love Jackson too.
Woo. All right, bedtime. Ready to take your glasses off? All right, let's put in some eye drops. It's been a blessing that Jackson's kind of not aware of that. He didn't, at least I don't think he feels that sort of stigma of people staring at him or looking different. So that's a blessing. And I'm a child like Jackson with disabilities, and I think I'm worry about it, about what's going to happen to him in the future, and I worry about and I feel guilty sometimes about him not doing enough for him or enough of the right things to help him now. I think Denver and Dallas and Logan are great brothers. I mean, I think it could have just because Jackson, he looks the way he looks, and you get a lot of stares when you go out in public with him and things like that, but I think
they've never acted like his father.
I think you boys have done fantastic about that.
I think Jackson has a pretty good prognosis. I think physically, modern medicine can keep him going pretty well. I worry more about Jackson's ability emotionally to grow old, where he will fit in that pattern as he gets older and gets out of the comfort zone of family and mothering and that sort of thing, and that remains to be seen. Physically, I think Jackson's done very well and has potential to continue to do very well.
The one thing about Jackson too is Jackson's only going to go so far. I mean, he's not going to, we will be fooling ourselves, I think, if we thought he was going to blossom into this young adult that's going to go out and take care of himself, because I think we all know that's not going to happen, more than likely. But my gosh, what a wonderful human being he is.
Jackson.
What?
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I like to see myself in a mirror. What's something?
You want to say your night-night prayer?
Sure.
I'll start out, then you do it, okay?
Heaven, thank you for a day. Bless us and our family. Bless Denver. Bless his camera. Bless my TV.
What about Granny and Grandma?
Bless Granny. Grandma, while they sleep. Bless them while she sleeps. Brandy and Jerry while they sleep. Bless Emmy Beth. Bless Miss Raina and her babies. Bless Miss Jackie with her legs. Bless in the babies. Help.
Yes, and Uncle Tom.
Babies.
Mom?
Yes?
I want you to say the prayer with us.
You go ahead.
Bless Aunt and Uncle Tom. Brittany and Chris. Brandy and Katie.
We're honored to have Jackson as a part of our family. Did you bless me?
Yeah, not yet. Bless Mom and Dad.
Amen.
Amen.
And bless Denver and my family. Amen.
Amen.
Good job.
With a spoon.
Night, buddy.
Night.
I premiered this film at my school, and hundreds of friends, family, and community members showed up. Jackson, he loved every second of it. I decided to take him up on stage after the movie was over so he could say something to the audience. But he didn't say anything. He simply bowed. How he knew to do that, I have no clue. But when he did, the entire audience leapt to their feet, hundreds of people cheering him on, yelling his name. I looked over at him, and he looked over at me, and I could tell. He was happy. Not a slice of happy or a fleeting moment of it, but truly, completely happy. This little boy whose body turns against him every day, whose appearance is so different it shocks people, whose condition is so rare he is only one of a handful in the world. He was happy. It took me a long time to realize this, but that face Jackson made, that smile of pure, true happiness, I see it every day. I see it on the days I come home from college. I see it on the days his granny comes to visit him. And sometimes I even see it in a hospital room while he sits on the bed waiting for surgery. Now imagine having that feeling of acceptance and love, just pure joy in even the worst of situations. I truly believe that Jackson's disabilities in some ways are a gift that shows the rest of us that true happiness can be found in even the most surprising of places. And maybe, just maybe, that's all the answer that we need.
Tell your story about a boy named Jackson.
Jackson's kind of like a role model for people to not let things bother you.
He kind of flies around and enjoys himself, you know. He don't just sit down and feel like it, that we feel like that we couldn't do the things that he does, you know. He's good at what he does, and he don't complain about how he is or anything, you know. So he is kind of like a butterfly. He just gets around like that.
You know, I mean, Jackson's come a long way. Up until Jackson was about 4, I think I could have gone into his bedroom any morning and I would not have been shocked if he had not made it through the night. Because he was so sick for so long. And even though he's certainly not healthy now, it's not so day by day to me. He's kind of blossomed into this child that's gonna be with me for a while. You know, I mean, I don't have that fear that he's not gonna be there in the morning.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jackson. In the hospital, I was a baby. And Mommy tummy, and her took me home, and I brought him home, and he was happy. And then I grew up and became a big boy and became a teenager. But happy ever after the end. Ta-da!
Little frog, what have you to say? It's raining out here, please don't get washed away. Little frog, where have you to go? I worship the weakness you try not to show. Oh blessings, oh nature, oh wonderful things. A sunshine, cool water, trees grow in rings. My blessings, oh nature, short time they abide, while forever and always I'll find you outside. As it rains on the crickets outside of my car, I wish I were naked, asleep in the yard, like Eve and her Adam in bed with the snake, when God did evict them from Eden's embrace. Electricity's good and enlightenment's nice, but I'd love to be smushed on the road once or twice. Yes, I'd love to be smushed on the road once or twice.